Hi everyone, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Rachel, this is Lemonade Stitching, and today is my October 2025 wrap-up. I have had a busy past month since I last saw you guys. I did get quite a bit of cross-stitching done, but the biggest thing that I've been up to is I got married. I am officially Mrs. Hess, so that took up a lot of my time this past month, but I still managed to get almost 9,000 stitches in on 7 different projects. So in today's Flosstube update, we're going to talk about all of my finishes, starts, and whips that I worked on in October. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to talk more about my wedding and honeymoon. So if you're interested, stay till the end. Hopefully I will have pictures to insert. As of filming this right now, I'm still waiting on my sneak peeks from my photographer, but I will put in whatever I do have, even if they're just iPhone photos. I'd rather have the nice photos to share, but I'll do what I can based on when I get this video up. So first up for this update, we're gonna jump into my finishes. I had 3 projects that I finished in the month of October. The first one being Apothecary Shoppe by the WitchyStitcher. This is stitched on a 40 count Bronze Age linen with DMC 310. I really am happy with how this came out. So here's an overview of the piece, and then I'll get up close so you can see it. This one was really fun to stitch. I adopted this from Cam at Cam the Stitcher, and I think she was about 30% of the way done. So this month I added about 1,300 stitches and pulled out a finish. Technically, there is a border that goes around this piece, but I'm gonna try to get a fun black frame, like a pretty ornate gothic black frame to use instead of stitching that border, partly because I don't want to, and also because it'll be easier. Like if I do the straight border, then I have to really pay attention when I'm framing it, and I don't really want to do that. So this is Apothecary Shoppe by the WitchyStitcher, and that is finish number 1. I was hoping to have this FFO'd so it could go up before Halloween. Obviously did not happen, so it'll be a decoration next fall. Next up, I finished Spooky Haunted House by PocketMamaShop. I stitched this on 36 count brown sugar linen by Fiber on a Whim, and I used all the called for DMCs. So again, here's an overview of the piece, and I'll get you nice and close. So if you saw my last Flosstube when I started this, you'll know I originally wanted to stitch it on purple linen, just like Sarah did, but I didn't have a good one in my stash, so I ended up using this scrap of brown sugar. I thought the green gave it a nice like swampy, yucky kind of vibe, and I'm really happy with how it came out. I was a little nervous about it, to be honest, when I had only done the bottom here and I hadn't really added any color into the house. But it was definitely a trust the process kind of stitch, and now I'm really happy with it. Again, this will have to be FFO'd for fall of 2026 because it is November now and it's obviously not ready to be hung on the wall. So again, really happy with this. Gonna tuck it away and probably FFO it next summer, because honestly it's easier to store unfinished projects in my project roll than it is to store like a framed project or like done up project. It's easier to just roll them up and worry about it next year. So those are my 2 Halloween-esque finishes, but I did have one more, and this is a big one. This is one I've been pushing for a finish for, and I got it done on my honeymoon, and this is Love Gains by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I'll put up a picture of the like original colors, but I stitched mine in purple. Technically, I did adopt this from Megan, the Seattle Stitcher, so she chose the colors, but she only got like one and a half Quaker medallions done, I think, so I did do the bulk of the stitching on this one. I only had about 630 stitches left to do this month to call it a finish, but all of that stitching was in the quote. But here is my finished piece. So this is a 36 count oyster shell with Mystic Pools Dinky dye stitched 1/2, excuse me. And again, here's the overview of the piece. I love it. And here is up close. So we got the top row of Quakers. And then my quote. This is a lyric from Noah Kahan. So it says, "Everywhere, everything, I want to love you till we're food for the worms to eat, till our fingers decompose, keep my hand in yours." And here's the bottom of the Quakers. And I'm kind of using this piece as my wedding sampler. I didn't do a true wedding sampler, but this one, my husband did kind of approve the quote or like agree with me that this is the quote he wanted to do. We love this song. It was a song we listened to a lot when we first started dating and we were long distance. And it's about love, you know, so this is gonna take the place of my wedding sampler and kind of hold just a special place in both of our hearts. I'm thinking about adding our initials before I get this framed and possibly the year, but I don't really know where I would put them. So I haven't committed. I could easily just like tuck them somewhere, but I don't know if I really want to because I feel like it would be distracting. Like, obviously this is kind of distracting in and of itself because there's so many different Quakers, but I don't know. So I'm thinking about adding initials. Might do it, might not, but I'm just so happy with how this came out. It was really enjoyable to stitch until I got to the 1/1. So I do not recommend saving the 1/1 till the end because it was painful. But yeah, it's done now. I'm probably gonna get this one professionally framed just because since it's our wedding sampler, I want it to be really nice and straight and whatever. We'll probably go to the counter together to pick out the frame. And I'm just really excited to have it hanging up. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it on this wall behind me or if we're gonna put it somewhere downstairs. That's a lot to decide. First we had to finish it, so now we can worry about all the details and where it's gonna go. After finishing Love Gains, I needed a new start, so I decided to start the Pizza Slice Mill Hill kit. And I'm gonna be finishing this as an ornament, and I'm gonna be making some customizations because we served pizza at our wedding reception, and instead of having like his and hers cocktails, we had a special pizza that we really, really like. And it's a white pizza with sausage. And so I'm gonna basically just change out all the red floss to be like tan, white and tan and whatever. And then I'm gonna change the pepperonis to just be brown and call them sausage. So I did get some new beads for it. I picked out the best I could when I was at the L&S. There were no true brown Mill Hill beads, but this is what I got so far. So I got a couple cream colored beads, like a cream. It's like a cream, a tan, and like a purplish. I haven't pulled flosses yet for the colors that I'm changing, but I'm hoping this will work. And if it doesn't, I'll just go buy more. These were like $2 a package, which I thought Mill Hill beads were way more expensive than that, but I'm pretty sure they were like $2. So that was great. So I got these, haven't tried them yet, so I don't know if I'll stick with those colors because I didn't realize that I didn't pull floss yet until I was like pulled this out on the honeymoon to work on, and I didn't have anything, like I only had the kit and the new beads. So anyway, I started with this one color, like a yellow or something, and I put in a couple of strands, and that is my start. I literally worked on this one day, I think, and I haven't picked it up since. But yeah, next time I pick this up, I'll probably go through my DMC stash and try and, you know, convert some of the colors, see what I can find. This is a little bit harder of a Mill Hill to work on because I have to take that mental energy to change the colors, but I'm really excited. I don't know if I'm gonna have this finished in time for this Christmas. It'd be great, but I'm not gonna hold myself to that because I have a lot of other things that I want to stitch on. The other 3 projects I have to talk about are all whips. So first up, I've got Harvest Tiny Town, and I do need to take a moment for this bag. This is the bag that I made at the Harvest Moon Hangout in September, the Lindy Stitches event. And I didn't have the bag like live in front of me to show you guys for my last video. So this is my bag. I love how it came out. I did end up getting the kit and I did the binding option, and this is my, I think everyone had the same backing fabric and lining fabric. Mine's candy corns, but I'm just really happy with this. So this is how mine came out. Love her. And obviously I have to keep a Halloween project in here. The closest thing I have to a Halloween project is Harvest Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. So this project I also started at the Harvest Hangout, and I added about just under 400 stitches this month. I just pulled it out for like 1 or 2 nights. And I finished the house that I was previously working on and then added a tree. So I am stitching this on 40 count flax with all the called for colors. Something about me is I have not been wanting to work on 40 count. I have not been enjoying it the last several weeks. And I have a lot of projects on 40 count, and I have a lot of stash fabric in 36 and 40 count. So I've been struggling there, but I was proud of myself for at least getting a little bit done on this. I think I just had to like fill in the door and the windows, and then I added the tree, and there are mushrooms down here, but they're kind of hard to see. So hopefully I might have to change out this cream color. I don't even know what color it is. But I didn't really think about that when I was choosing this fabric. So we'll see. I also might just leave it and they can be subtle mushrooms, but I don't have their tops on yet because I don't have the DMC for it. So eventually we'll chug our way through that. But that's the progress we have right now. We are about, I don't even know. We're about 19% complete on that. So this next project I pulled out after the honeymoon, and like I said, I really was not vibing with like 36 and 40 count projects. I wanted something that was easier to see, easier to work on, and just, yeah, a higher, lower count, I guess, bigger holes, bigger stitches to do. So my solution to that was to pull out Jacque's View. This is a leaflet that I have. I got this at my local Creative Reuse, and previously I had just done the 2 doors on the side. That is how I started the project, and I picked it up this month and I got 3,600 stitches done. That's almost half of the stitches I did this month was all on Jacque's View. I picked it up and could not put it down for days, and this is the progress. So this is looking incredible. I'll give you an overview and then we'll get up close. So I'm stitching this on 14 count easy grid white Aida with 2 strands of DMC. And my strategy for this was, first up I stitched this floor down at the bottom. And there is a design in the floor. It's hard to see, but that's how it's charted. So I stitched the floor, and then I jumped up to the top, and something I didn't even realize about the easy grid was that it would allow me to kind of jump around on the project. So I was going to show you guys like my stitch pattern, but then I finished the whole top chunk. So now you can't really tell that I didn't stitch straight down, but I was jumping around a lot with the colors because of the grid. So here is the little top section. There will be backstitch, but I'm going to save that for the end. And then once I got the top section done, I really didn't want to do more of this like yellow cream color. So that is when I jumped down back to the bottom and I put in the cat and these other black stitches that you can kind of see in the middle of the project. So I picked this chart because it looks like my cat Sybil. So in my head I call this Sybil's View, but technically it's called Jacque's View. And again, this is the project overall. We are over the 50% mark, which is crazy. Did not expect that for this year, but I'm really, really happy with it. I'm gonna put it away for a little while, I think, just so I don't get burnt out on it, but I'm excited for the next time I get to pull this out. And hopefully this will be a 2026 finish. I think that'll be really fun. Other great news about that project is I was able to color complete a couple of colors. So my floss rings although still insane, are looking slightly thinner. You can't tell, but I probably finished like 10 or 15 colors, I think. Maybe 10. 15 sounds like a lot. But I definitely got to finish a good chunk of them, which was nice. One project left that I worked on, and I don't think you guys are gonna expect this, but I pulled this project out on Halloween. I did my little stitching on Harvest Tiny Town for Halloween, got my 400 stitches in, and I was like, I'm done, I need something else. And I actually pulled out Christmas stitching. I am just ready for Christmas. I think a lot of people are ready for Christmas. And I have so many Christmas projects to stitch this year that I was like, I'm not waiting till December. Oh, and I didn't take this out of the hoop. One second. So anyway, the project that I'm talking about is Celtic Noel. I just did not want to wait till December to pull her out again. So here she is in all of her glory. She is absolutely stunning. I kind of forgot how much progress I made. So when I pulled this out, my jaw dropped. I was just like, she is so pretty. So I worked down here on the bottom right in her dress. Let me fold this so it's easier to see. So I worked down here and I brought this like gold swirl down, and there's some red in there that I filled in. And then I just started mapping out the swirl down here. I wanted to color complete, but my hoop wasn't quite big enough to get the whole back of the dress in. But I'm hoping if I just finish up this front end here, then I'll be able to color complete like the bottom middle of the dress. So that is how she's looking. I added almost 600 stitches on Halloween to put this at 80%. I have about 3,400 stitches remaining, but I think about 1,000 of those are actually beads. So we are making good progress. It's almost time for me to buy a scroll frame. I told myself once I got to the beads, I could reward myself with a scroll frame. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm just so excited to have this on my wall, probably next Christmas. This is another one that I think I'm gonna wanna get professionally framed, just with the time and effort, and it's so pretty, and the beads, and I think this one will be a treat, and it'll be a nice one that we can have up at the holidays. So, really, really excited about Celtic Noel. That is definitely gonna be a finish by the end of the year. I think I said that in July when I pulled this out, is I want it done this year. And I'm really excited. So that's a good project to segue into my plans for November. Like I said, I am ready for Christmas, so that is going to be my main focus in November is Christmas stitching. I have a Christmas gift to start, another gift that I need to FFO, and then after I finish Celtic Noel, which may be November, maybe December, I have another fancy lady to work on. So this is technically a start, a whip, but I am taking it off of my whip list because I think I'm gonna restart it. So the project I'm talking about is The Bride by Lavender and Lace. Here is its little photo. And I started this back in April to mark the 6-month countdown to my wedding. And I just started it on the called for fabric. My husband got it for me as a gift, and it's a huge piece, so let me get myself situated here. This is my start so far. It's like 32 count natural or something, Zweigart. It's just a brown, tannish, warmish color. And I'm not having the best time stitching on it. I don't love it. I'm not super happy with it, and I haven't worked on it really since April. These are the colors. The floss ring. I really should have prepared better for this. Oh, it's natural light linen. I just looked at the tag. So this is the floss ring. It's very pretty, but it's mostly white because she's a bride. And then these are all like accent colors, like in her dress and flowers and stuff. But anyway, I'm not happy with the fabric, and I thought about restarting it on my honeymoon, but I didn't have the right fabric and stash because with this being Lavender and Lace, there are of course beads, and I really don't want to go below a 32 count with regular size Mill Hill beads. And so I just bought fabric the other day from Color and Cotton. I had seen Color and Cotton post on Instagram that they had some ready to ship fabric, And I had in the back of my mind that I wanted to buy a neutral 32 count, but I couldn't remember why, so I didn't buy it right away. And then a couple days went by and I was scrolling and I was like, I wonder if they have any of that left. And I still couldn't remember why I bought it, like why I wanted a 32 count, but I decided to buy just whatever they had. So they had a 32 count soft beachcomber left, and then between buying it and it getting delivered, I remembered that it was for Lavender and Lace. So I'm hoping that this will be big enough. I haven't measured, but I'm pretty sure that I measured before I left for the honeymoon, and a fat quarter would be just big enough for the fancy lady. If not, I'll just buy some different fabric. But this is the fabric I bought, and this is really my first time looking at it. I haven't done a floss toss, but I'm thinking about using this for the bride instead of the called for Zweigart. So this is Beachcomber Soft, and I really love this. It's a really nice neutral. Let me hold up so you can see the difference. Where did that project go? Here's the difference in the two colors. So obviously they're both neutral, but this one, the colored cotton, is just so much more, it's softer and it's just nicer. I haven't tested anything to see like if the colors will show up. So I'm probably gonna do some white stitching on here just to like test and make sure. But I think it's dark enough that the white will show up. And there's also a lot of like grays. I'm doing a horrible job talking about this. There's also a lot of grays in here, so that might help too. But yeah, I'm gonna do some white stitching to test, but I'm thinking about starting this over on this linen. I think that'll look nicer than the called for Zweigart plain. I like it in the camera. Hopefully I like it just as much in person when I start stitching it. But either way, this is gonna wait. I told myself I could take the bride off of my whip list and restart it once I finish Celtic Noel. So probably gonna restart it in January, but things could change, who knows? Maybe it'll be like a New Year's Eve start, not really sure. I do have a couple other acquisitions, just two. So I know not everyone loves haul, but I promise these are fun. So first up is I went to Stitch Therapy for the Halloween party that they hosted Thursday, October 30th. I try to go to Stitch Night whenever I can. And at this one, they were handing out little goodie bags. So they gave everyone a little ink circles chart. It's just a black and white copy, but this is kind of what it looks like. This is fun design. And then they gave everyone a piece of, I don't know what size linen, but a little scrap of white linen. And then a Dinky dyes, like a highly variegated Dinky dye silk. So this is the color I got. It is Riverina, number 137. And it has pink, green, blue, and purple. And it's really fun. So this was a fun little freebie to get. And how nice of them to make little bags for the party. My other acquisition is actually a wedding gift from my friend Yvonne. We originally met when I moved to Lexington. I met her at the Creative for You store. But then I had to stop going, and we reconnected when I started going to Stitch Therapy. And we've both been going to their Stitch Nights whenever we can. And she was super sweet and kitted me up a little project as a wedding gift. So she kitted up Quaker Stocking by JBW, and I think I've almost bought this chart like 4 different times, so I'm really happy to have this and get to stitching on this. I might even add it to my November plans. It's just a cute little small. And she kitted it up with some 30 count corn silk linen by Weeks Dye Works, which is kind of a yellowy color. And then she also got me some Tudor silk in the color Cinnabar and Bellagio Red. They're very similar. I actually didn't even realize till right now that they were 2 different colors. But this is the Bellagio Red. And then this one is Cinnabar. So I'm excited to try these. We had talked about Tudor silk several weeks ago before the wedding, and so I just thought it was super thoughtful and super sweet that she kitted this up for me. Yvonne does the coolest projects, and she loves to do like fun colors, make things her own, use what she has, upcycling, all kinds of cool stuff. And so she picked out this fun little color palette for me. And then she got me a gift certificate as well to Stitch Therapy so that I could pick out something else fun. So I just want to say thank you again, Yvonne. It was so, so sweet of you, and I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to stitch this up and be able to take it to her and show her at the shop. The last little thing I have to share with you guys is actually knitting. Really quickly, I worked a little bit on my Shoppe top that I talked about in my last Flosstube update. I was hoping to have it done for today, but I'm not quite finished with it yet. But I did get quite a bit of work done on the body, so I think I have a couple centimeters left. I've done about 10 rows, I think. This is my progress since I last tried it on, and I wanted to like double the length here. So got quite a bit to go, I think, but I'll have to try it on again soon. But yeah, this is how my Shoppe top is turning out. Just thought I'd give you guys a quick little update. Maybe in the November video it'll be done, maybe not, who knows. Okay, I am going to transition into wedding chat, wedding talk. So if you're not interested in hearing about that, totally understand, and I appreciate you watching and hearing all about the crafts that I got up to in October, and hopefully I will see you in my November update. If you do want to hear about the wedding, then stay tuned. So my wedding was on October 17th this past month, and we did ours a little bit differently. We didn't have your traditional ceremony and reception. We had kind of a more casual wedding weekend situation going on. So we got married here in Lexington, and our main focuses for the wedding, like when we were planning and trying to decide what we wanted and, you know, what we wanted for ourselves, what we wanted for our guests, we really wanted to focus on fun. Like, we wanted to have fun. We wanted all of our guests to have fun. We really wanted to be able to show off Kentucky. A lot of our guests hadn't been able to come visit us before, so we really wanted them to get to experience Kentucky and see where we live and see why we love it here. So we wanted a good balance of that. And we just have had so many friends get married, and either they're not having fun or there's a lot of downtime and other guests aren't having fun or whatever. And we just wanted everyone to have fun. That's the moral of the story, is we wanted everyone to have fun. This is also the third wedding of my friend group this year, so we wanted to do something a little different and switch it up, and so we ended up with the following plan. So we got married on a Friday, and we got married at the local courthouse. I did wear a full gown, and we had suit and a bouquet, and the family was there. So it was my parents, Graham's parents, and my sister. And we did like downtown Lexington photos. We got all the nice family portraits, bridal, a couple bridal pictures, not a ton. And we got pictures of the actual ceremony itself, and we just got married with a local judge downtown. And then we got to take like fun pictures around downtown. I'm really excited to see how they came out. And we walked over and had lunch at one of our favorite little delis in Lexington. The judge couldn't believe that we were just going to like a hole-in-the-wall deli, and we're like, why would we not? we love it here, and it was super sweet. We go there quite often. Graham has been going since before I even moved to Lexington, but we try to go whenever we can. And you know, they know us by name there and whatever, and so we walked in and they were all super excited to see me in my dress, and the cook was like almost crying. She was like, we used to cater for weddings all the time, but like I haven't in years, and this is by far my favorite. And they were just so touched that we chose to come there on our wedding day, and oh, it made my heart warm. But food was delicious. It was awesome, much needed after a long morning of getting ready and walking around and whatnot. I think I have a picture I can show you guys Graham's reaction to seeing me in my dress. We didn't do a formal first look or anything, but one of my friends snapped a photo of him as I was coming down the stairs. And I should also mention, on Thursday, before we even got to the ceremony, I wanted to make my own bouquet. So my mom, my sister, and my mother-in-law. We all went and got our nails done, and then we went to a local bouquet making place where you like pick out your own flowers and they arrange them in a bouquet for you. And so it was like a Thursday afternoon. We were the only people in there. We got to get a little drink and pick flowers from the wall, and it was super fun. I didn't arrange it myself, but I did, with the help of my gals, pick out all the stems, and then the guy that was there kind of arranged them, added the greenery, and wrapped them up for me so they would look like a bouquet. So that was Thursday. So then obviously, like I said, Friday we got married, got lunch, then we went and took a nap. We had some decompression time at the house. I took my dress off for a couple of hours because I was squeezed in there. I had some logistical issues with the dress and the fit and whatever. I had to add a corset into the back, but then the chest wasn't staying up. So I have photos of my mom and my sister like tying me up in a corset in the middle of downtown. It was a whole thing. It doesn't matter, it's over. But I was really happy to take it off for a couple hours and just put my sweats back on. And then we had a wedding dinner that night, Friday night. And so that kind of took the place of our rehearsal dinner. So we invited all of our out-of-town friends and family, and we had a nice sit-down Italian dinner at our favorite restaurant here in Lexington. And we got to see everybody and mingle and take photos and chat. And I did wear my dress to that, but I put a cardigan over the top because I was just so overstimulated by having to like worry about the top and falling out of it and whatever. So they didn't get the full effect of the dress, but I did have the gown on, I did have the veil on, both of which are now disgusting. My gown bustled into a bow, like it had a bow for the bustle. That was ripped off because I kept stepping on it. It was a pretty small space that we were in, which I knew and tried to be thoughtful, like tried to think of that when I was picking out a dress. But I wanted a gown. To find a gown and have it be kind of small was a lot. So whatever, we did the best we could. It served its purpose. The other hard part was that I was sitting so much and like being in the car a lot more than your average bride on her wedding day, I think. So all the boning in the top of the dress just collapsed in on itself, but whatever, it's fine. I still had a good time. Usually when I leave that restaurant, I'm so full, I'm sick, and I wasn't. I had salad, appetizers, pasta, cake, and I ate the perfect amount and didn't feel too full. So all in all, I'd say it was a good time. But anyway, so we had our wedding dinner in lieu of our rehearsal dinner, and then we went back to the hotel and had like a after party social hour, whatever. We got matching hoodies that had our wedding date in Roman numerals, and we brought board games, we got snacks and an open bar, and just kind of hung out with everyone at the hotel. All of my friends had arrived kind of the night before and throughout the day from out of town, so that was the first time I got to see them all together and kind of see our groups mingle and our college friends mingle, which is really fun. And it was just a casual night to hang out and see everyone. Since literally everyone at the wedding was coming in from out of town, I wanted to make sure we had ample time to spend with everybody and get to see them, rather than just a couple minutes at a ceremony. So that was Friday night, and then Saturday we had a morning after brunch. And so we didn't do traditional bridal parties. So Graham and his guy friends all went out for a brunch, and then me and my girlfriends all went out for brunch. And these were the people that like would have been in a bridal party had we done that, but it didn't really fit in with what we wanted to do. We didn't have like bachelorette parties or anything. So this kind of took the place of that for us. So I think I had about 9 or 10 of us at my gals brunch, and we went to one of my favorite brunch spots here in Lexington and just had a grand old time. A couple of the boyfriends that were there offered to be our DDs for brunch, which was great. So they kind of sat at the bar, and we were joking around that they were our security detail, you know, just keeping an eye on us, making sure everything was okay. But yeah, so we had brunch in the morning, and then we just had some rest and relaxation in the afternoon. I don't even remember what I did. I think I took a nap again and then got ready because Saturday night was our reception. And we went to the Distillery District, which, if you're familiar with Lexington, is an old distillery campus, bourbon distillery, that has been broken up into a bunch of different bars and restaurants. And so this also, mind you, was homecoming weekend. There were like 7 events happening this particular day in Lexington, so there was a lot going on. It was busy down there, but we reserved room at Goodfellas, which is a big pizza place. They have some other locations around Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. But anyway, we reserved the upper mezzanine of Goodfellas and added on their private bar, and then we had space on their back patio as well that was just private for our group. We got a bunch of pizza and breadsticks and just kind of mingled and socialized. My mom made amazing desserts, cupcakes, and a cookie tray, and just wanted everyone to have a good time. I wore a white dress, but not like a wedding gown. And I was like, everyone just dress comfortable, you know, like don't wear PJs, but just wear what makes you feel beautiful. I had my photographer there to get pictures, so hopefully I have some fun ones to mix in. I did buy a Camp Snap camera in hopes that I would have fun, like film-esque photos, but I forgot to charge it, so it died about 10 minutes in. But yeah, so we had the pizza and open bar and desserts and stuff for about 2 hours. And then we just kind of turned it into a bar crawl. And so for a while, Graham was off with his friends. Some of my cousins went, and there was like a vintage fair across the street, so they went there. Some people hung out and watched the Ohio State game that day, and people just kind of milled about, and we kind of milled about and said hi to people and went wherever. And then at one point, Graham was off with his friends, and I went with my college friends, and I think most of our family members and stuff kind of just went back to the hotel to hang out because the bar crawl wasn't really their scene, which is fine. I wanted everyone, like I said, everyone should have fun. But they kind of took the extra pizza and desserts back to the hotel and hung out there. And my friends and I kind of did some bar hopping, did bowling. There was a cidery, an arcade bar, had a lot of fun. Eventually we met up with Graham and his group. So it was great. It was so much fun. I was gonna get ice cream at the end of the night, but I had eaten enough and I was like, there's no way I can eat ice cream without feeling sick. So I had to skip out on ice cream, which was a bummer, but that's okay. But yeah, we ended up at the arcade bar, which is one of the locations we took our engagement photos, which was really fun. And I think we got home at like midnight and went to bed, and it was great. And then we got up Sunday, said goodbye to everyone as they were leaving, and then headed out on our honeymoon. So all in all, it was a big weekend. I was up late. My bedtime is like 9 o'clock, and I did not go to bed at 9 o'clock for several days in a row. So I was really excited to have a very relaxing honeymoon planned. But all in all, I'm really, really happy with the wedding. I think it went as perfect as I was hoping it would, as we could hope. Obviously there are a couple little hiccups, but that's to be expected with any event, and overall it went great. Everyone had a good time, and I'm just really thankful that it all came together kind of as we were envisioning it. As far as our honeymoon, we went to North Georgia. So we were in Ellijay, Georgia, got a cabin in the mountains, and it was just stunning. It's about a 5-hour drive, not too bad. Could be shorter, could be longer. And the leaves were changing. It was absolutely beautiful. We had cool, crisp weather all week. Only one kind of like gloomy, rainy day, which is really fine because we had like an entire wall of windows. So we just got to sit with the screen doors and just kind of listen to the rain. We had a fireplace, do our crafts. It was awesome. We were only about 10 minutes from town. So every day we were able to kind of go in, get some coffee, get some lunch, whatever, and just hang out at the house most of the day. Did some antiquing, which was really fun, but the main goal of the honeymoon was just to relax, and I'm really, really happy we did it that way. I know a lot of people love to go on very adventurous honeymoons, go to Europe, whatever, and I did think of that, but something I didn't consider is how tired I would be after the wedding weekend. So I'm very, very thankful that past Rachel chose this relaxing staycation-esque route. Because I cannot imagine having to like leaving the wedding and then having to go to the airport and have a 10-hour flight and do all of that, and there's no way I would have survived it. So honeymoon was great, very relaxing. Didn't get as many crafts done as I wanted to, but I got love gains done, which is really all that mattered. That was like my one goal for the honeymoon, was to have that done by the time we got back. Anyway, all in all, that was my wedding weekend and honeymoon. I hope I had some good photos to put up for you guys. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. I appreciated everyone's, well wishes on my last video, and everyone seemed to kind of want to hear about how it went. So I hope that wasn't too long-winded for you guys. And I'm just really happy to be able to share it with you. So anyway, that is it for my October wrap up. I will see you guys again at the beginning of December for my November wrap up video, and happy stitching, and I'll see you in my next Flosstube.